have good concentrations of DMT and 5-methoxy-DMT, and botanically described to be related to the plant of the baby Horus. The plant of the baby Horus Nabu. However, I needed direct hieroglyphic evidence, and this is coming, that shows the interaction of the two, because the DMT in the acacia will not become active unless you have a plant that will make it active, as you all know. That's also why the Strassman studies have to be redone, because when we naturally induce DMT in our body, you need to have either pinoline or harmaline present, and that intercalates through fluorescence reading studies with the DNA. Whereas DMT goes to the RNA. These two work in harmonics with each other. The exact musical harmonics we have identified. So that changes the study, because in natural conditions, when DMT occur under stress situations, through apotheosis, through gnosis, through possible mental illness, through psychic remote viewing, through whatever form it may onset, there is always the combination of these two. So I needed to find a connection between these two in the Egyptian mysteries. Here, the boat of the pharaoh, this is his tomb, so this is for his afterlife, to remind him of every shamanic initiation he had in his life, because every shamanic initiation is to die and be reborn and be ready for this final apotheosis. The boat here is the double serpent, or chondra, which are the serpents that come from the atum, that is the same as the 1,000-petaled lotus, that is on top of Bharakti or Horus. The double snake of the Kundalini. In the middle is the acacia tree, and in the very middle, between two acacia trees, between two trees of life, between two pillars, so to speak, is Tutmosis being initiated by the goddess Asna, or Peru, Hathor. And he's doubled. These are his two brain hemispheres. You'll see on the next boat here, the crown of Upper Egypt, and on the other side is the crown of Lower Egypt. So this is the boat of his mind. The boats were made from acacia tree. But here you see the acacia tree branching from his head. Mushrooms are also shown branching from the head of some of the sons of Ramses. That's another story. In fact, in Tutmosis' tomb, you have the lesser initiation showing what looks like a Stropharia cubensis mushroom. It is illegal to photograph in the tomb, so it's hard to get pictures without being caught by the police. That includes without flash. Zahi Hawass publishes the different tombs, but the key parts, the shamanic parts, where are they? So, we have the acacia tree branching from the head, and we have Tutmosis drinking from the tree of life of the gods. The soup plant, Nabu, the summer plant, which links or harnesses starlight. The process of Tutmosis going from an Osiris king into a Horus king, a falcon on the horizon. Remember him going into the heavens, in the bird of the heavens. He's shown here in the double sphinx, getting the soup plant. This is the Acacia Madani. I took this on the Nile, coming from the Valley of Kings. Specifically, the ayahuasca tree of the Egyptians. Now here, the soul feather has been made out of the acacia tree. The concept of the soul is like a feather is made from the acacia tree. So, in the approximate area of the pineal gland, the third eye, you have the acacia tree coming. The pineal gland associated to a feather by head the cup. You see here that this boat is in the pharaoh's mind. Look, you see his head on the end. So when he unifies the boat of his head, that's 8 cycles per second between the two hemispheres of the brain, the sun and the moon commune in honeymoon. This is the symbol of Aldebaran. This is the symbol of Asna, of the goddess of the mysteries of Egypt, that provides the acacia milk. She is akin to the Sarasvati, goddess of the Rig Veda, whose breasts are called Sakana, which release the sacred milk of the 108 plants. So I say to some Satanists who believe in devils and such things, you haven't done your homework. Satana's roots are the breasts of the goddess. Do you have a breastfeeding complex? Here you see how the stripes of the feather are related to the acacia tree. The slaying of the crocodile, which is like the slaying of the Kundalini dragon, the reptoid within. When the Kundalini has not been conquered, when the DNA intelligence has not been conquered by the re-realization, the apotheosis of the primordial observer that cannot be canned or coined except as is, which is not, goes paradox. When the primordial seeing eye, that is the heart, that is the mind, that is the threefold nature, with ayahuasca you go to your belly. You go into the serpent, primitive structure of the intestines, looking like a primitive serpent. So you go into the serpent. You unite your heart and mind as the threefold path. That is the balance that can enable the spirit of the spine, the spiritual sphere, to go into the heart of the dragon, which, as you are shamanically raptured into the zodiacal houses, and the zodiac is made into the 6 central divisions of the spine, 6 forward, 6 back, as the 12 houses of the zodiac. In the middle is Alpha Draconis, the heart of the dragon. The dragon's court, so to speak, in which we appear to be caught, as in bespelled in a stargate of sorts. So, with the spear of central realization, the spear of compassionate love, which is love, life, and light, which is compassion from the heart cardio rhythms, which is the sexual orgasmic life force unified field, which is the clarity of consciousness in 8 Hertz phase conjugation, where 8 Hertz sets up the resonations of harmony to the theta rhythm at 4 Hertz and 2 Hertz with delta, 16 and 32 Hertz in beta. And we've done experiments with my brain when I'm speaking like this. Conquering the dragon within the boat of the mind. The crown of upper and lower Egypt, because the Nile is the backbone of Osiris and the Pharaoh is Osiris. And Osiris is to resurrect into Horus or Peru. So the upper and lower spine, which are the 2 snakes of the spine. Now, as Mesha, the crocodile, as you see in the Egyptian zodiac, is Draconis. This is the dragon. I know we're dragging on a little. Specifically associated to life after death and the initiations of the acacia tree. Okay. Now, in the antechamber leading to this tomb, you have these pictures that shows the pharaoh holding the acacia tree, here the pharaoh with the branching acacia tree from his head. But more importantly, this one's a bit out of focus, it's an illegal photograph. More importantly, you have the Nabu plant interacting with scent or acacia medalli plant. Specifically, the interaction of those 2 plants makes this psychedelically active. Here, portrayed. First presentation of this in the Americas. The use of the shamanic plant of Parmala, the Guna Parmala, which is the plant of the goddess Sud, partner of Enki in the Sumerian texts. Enki is 8 psychoactive plants. I've talked to people in the British Museum specifically about this, and we documented in our Pi Canon chapter of the Sum of Conspiracy. So the Nabatean frescoes show Guna Parmala, Syrian rue, wild rue, being specifically used in their initiations, which was a beverage that purifies the soul, as in medicine Buddhism. Medicine Buddhism coming out of India the Rasa Ratnakara text of Nagarjuna, which you know from the mantra Om Mani Padme Hum. Nagarjuna unified the texts that came out from the Vedic traditions, including the Rasayana and the Rasana. The Rasana from Agastya, who was a shaman alchemist who describes the metamorphosis plants, and Boganatar, who also describes the same metamorphosis plants as analyzed from the Rig Veda. In the Rig Veda, both gods and humans drink of the somas. Indra, the cosmic man, or universal man become cosmic man in the mythos of the Rig Veda. Indrakula, the kulas of the alchemical families of Indra. Indra is a Maruta. The Marutas are still described in shamanic traditions today to come in vortex-like vehicles and to abduct 12-year-old kids who disappear for 3 days and 3 nights and come back sometimes as shamans. We have some ancient Himalayan cave art that describes the Marutas. Indra is described as the slayer of the dragon. In fact, an epithet of Indra produces our Archangel Michael as Magaila, the Lord of Wisdom. Magaila is the root of Michael, the slayer of the dragon. But this is a shaman. Indra drinks soma, and through soma becomes enormous, grows wings. His eyes spread into a network, a universal network of soma drops. Each drop is reflecting every other drop. Well, they are drops of soma, and his consciousness expands to become the star systems, the 88 constellations of the Rig Veda, so that the galactic serpent is also described as a kind of personal yantra or Mount Meru, which is liberated by Indra's Vajra vehicle. Vajra, which is used in Buddhism, is coming from Vajrata, which is the shamanic lens that some of you may have experienced in ayahuasca. This is the personal UFO that is produced by your own sacred sound, by your own sacred realization and unification, phase conjugation of all opposites. 8 cycles per second is phase conjugation. This just shows some mushrooms. But that's another story. That's the Serapis Bay Cup. I'm going to skip some slides. The mushroom in the Egyptians is called Ku. It's a kind of shadow paraplume. It's not the astral world, it's not the celestial world, it's a shamanic world. So it's also used to describe a shamanic parable.